are prepared to break the silence. I'll be out in the sunshine, running beside the lions. I've been feeling down, but I've been looking up, afraid to fall. God, I've been so down, can you pick me up? Don't let me fall. Can you show me how to fix this mess? I am down and on my knees and I may fall as I'm so close to the edge.
How are we all? Welcome back to Turf Moor House TV, and we are back with another match preview. It is game week 2 of the Sky Bet Championship, and we are going to be facing Luton Town. Perfect time for me personally to play them, I think. Obviously, we've had a bit of a, they've not given us the easiest to run in to begin the league with. Our last season's playoff final, losers in Huddersfield on the opening day. Then we've got Luton and then Watford. And then we've just got the recently, multi-millionaire Hull. It's good. It's an interesting, good couple of games to get under our belt. But it's a nice welcome back to the Championship for us. Welcome back to you guys over here in the chat. Everybody who, Chris is in the chat already, and I can just see his comment. But yeah, please do show your support to the channel. As I say, please do drop a like on this video. Let's get those likes absolutely smashed. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. Do appreciate everybody that has so far. And also hit that notification bell if you want to be notified. We are also going live at 9 o'clock tonight as well after this for the Championship prediction show. But yeah, just please, if you're kind enough, could do that. However, we are on other social media platforms. And before I bring my guest in, this is where you can find us. So without further ado, the big man is in. Ian, how are you doing? Thank you first and foremost for coming along. Obviously, a big Luton Town fan. Let everybody know a bit about you, where they can find your socials. And as I say, thanks again for coming on and hope you're well.
Yeah, good mate. Cheers. So it's Ian Robson. I'm from We Are Luton Town. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook mainly. We're on Instagram as well, but you'll find some ramblings on Twitter at We Are Luton Town and on Facebook at We Are Luton Town as well.
Happy days, happy days. You well personally? Everything all right?
No, got COVID in the household, so I missed the first game and possibly going to miss Saturday, depending on tests pending. But yeah, I'm all right. I've no real symptoms, but all good, mate. Yeah.
Oh, happy days. Happy days of feeling all good. Obviously, not so happy days of missing the football and stuff. It's a bit of a sickener, isn't it?
Yeah.
People in the chat, thank you very much. I will go through some of your comments to begin with, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty of it. So first up, the missus is in, and she says, typical, the laptop starts going slow. Remember to hit the thumbs up. Daniel is so close to hitting that 600 mark, so let's make it happen before his birthday. Yeah, 24th of August. Why not? Why not just plug it out there? Let's get him to, I'm guessing she means 1K before the season ends. He truly deserves it. Thank you very much from the woman upstairs. Chris is in as well. He says, look at me multitasking on 2 channels at once. Well, you can do that, can't you, when you're only doing a premiere? You're not having to sit there and be live. So, no, but thank you for coming over. I do appreciate it. He also said 5 off 600. I wish it was. I think it was 15 last time I looked. But I'm going to have to go through from my phone with the comments because it's being really, really unresponsive. Dan's in. He says, hello, mate. Hope you're well. Barrow on tour. Barry's in. Wolves fan. He says, well said, Kate. Hope loads of people will support Dan, irrespective of whichever football team they support. Good on yourself, Barry. Thank you very much for the kind words. Do appreciate it. T-Boys TV's in. Big up to yourself. They are also another Luton Town channel as well. I will be on that channel tomorrow, giving my thoughts, obviously, ahead of the game on Saturday. Chris says, Championship? What's the Championship? Yeah, I thought you'd say that, you dirty Leicester folk. Anthony's in. He says, me too. I'm watching Dan and the Brian Little interview at the same time. Not wrong with that. Statman's in. Says, great intro, mate. Loving it. Smash the like button and subscribe to this great channel. Let's get this channel to 600. I will not do the toast, Satan. After watching you do it, no chance. No chance at all. It was bad enough eating crickets, locusts, and some or other, whatever it were, mealworms at 500. I'm not doing any more horrible shit. It's not happening. Luke says, welcome back to the Premier League this week. What's the Premier League? Kate says, I thought it was 15 off. Well, we'll see. I know the rules. Barry says, careful, Leicester. You never know, especially the way you're losing players. Fuck's sake, I should have gone to Specsavers. It's the multitasking that's effed me up. Good on you, Kate. T-Boy says, up the Luton. Chris says, like Luton, not going to lie. Kate says 1,000. Yeah, I were going to pull you up on it, but I thought probably best not. Mella says, hello, Dan. Hello, Ian. Best of luck to Ian on your recovery. Yeah, well said. Well said, Mella. Fingers crossed. Ian will be able to be at a game real soon. Chris says, hi, Mella. Markson says, evening. Smash a like on the stream, comment and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Barry says, happy birthday on your birthday, August 24th. Mine's on the 25th. Happy days. My mate as well, it's his 30th this year, and his birthday's on the 23rd as well. So I'm going to make sure that I will be celebrating that. And Jag says, no more eating bugs. Nah, definitely not. Definitely not. Round here, you'd think it were a delicacy because of how northern and we just eat any old shit. But no, I was actually dared to do it. Chris says, who do you prefer, Luton or Watford, Dan? I'd rather Luton, and I'm not just saying that because you're Aryan, but I don't like the way Watford treat managers and the Pozzos and all that carry on. So,
good lad.
You know, every cloud. Plus, I've got fond memories of Luton. Obviously, good times as a Burnley fan. I just remember the time the Akinbaye hat trick, John Sparser having to go in goal because Brian Jensen handled outside the area. You know, so that was a fun, a really fun night. But yeah, first and foremost, obviously doing championship stuff. Personally, I'm finding it a bit weird and difficult now because obviously I've been so used to for the last 6 years, sort of speaking to different the similar faces. But it's nice to get new people on, and obviously now that the season's underway, you're happy to be back in the midst of doing all this media stuff again, or were you happy to sort of just sit back and be like, nah, I'm having my summer?
No, do you know what? After a couple of weeks, you kind of get your feet, don't you? And then you get the free for all just before the season starts. Everyone wants to kind of either talk to you or have some input or this and that. So no, it's good, and it's good to meet new channels as well. But it's just good to have football back, really, isn't it? Proper football as well, not this pre-season stuff. So yeah, no, it's really good to have football back.
Definitely. First question then, obviously, while we're on the subject of the subject is this Burnley Luton. Last season, give us your thoughts on last season. Obviously, so close to making an appearance in the Promised Land.
Yeah, I mean, we were close, weren't we? I mean, who knows what would have happened if we didn't have the furore of injuries that we had towards the end of the season. I think it was just a bit too much, and we got everything out of the squad. And I think that's one thing we've taken into account this year. We need a little bit more strength in depth, which we've got now. Obviously, it was a fantastic season. I predicted us to come about 8th or 9th last season, so I wasn't too far off, and we did a bit better than that. I think, the Championship last year isn't as strong as it is this year, so that made it a tad easier. And we just got into a good run. It was just a bit too much at the end. And I thought we played really, really well in the semi-finals and gave a good account of ourselves, but just wasn't to be. And we probably wouldn't have got past Forest in the final anyway. If they were great in the in the lead up to that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's one of our best finishes for God knows how many years. I think like 25, something like that. So yeah, it was a fantastic season.
No, it certainly was. Luke's in. He's, funnily enough, a Forest fan, and he says, "Do you think Luton have the potential to be a dark horse again and be in the playoffs come May?"
You know, it's one of the things people have been discussing it with other people. That are we seen as a dark horse now, or is it? Are we kind of top six fodder? I don't know whether your likes of Coventry and maybe Hull and Preston are more dark horse fodder. I'm not saying we'll definitely come top six, but whether we're in the consideration for that, I definitely we're going to be in the mix. I've given us a prediction of about 7th, so I suppose you kind of put that in that area, but whether you give it that label, I think there's other contenders for that where they've not been in and around it before and are going to be in and around it this season.
Yeah, totally agree. Barry said, "We'll be good to see you both in the Prem." I think we'd both take that. Mella says, "I think Luton will be 5th." I don't know why the comment's being slow. They are an excellent group. Yeah, they are a group of absolute workhorses. And Jag says, regarding Burnley, when it comes up, what do you think of Manuel Benson coming in and Cornet leaving? Well, I'm glad Cornet's going to a decent club, really, in terms of West Ham, a club that sort of had a bit of success recently. He could have just jumped ship like Tarkowski and McNeil, who, in a way, went to Everton that were exactly the same as us, battling last season to, save their arse. Especially if they're two players that want to be considered for England. I'd have thought you'd have, looked at maybe Newcastle or a team like Leicester. But if they want to go and sell themselves to, as I say, if they wanted to swap Turf Moor for Bramley Moor, feel free, be my guest. But is what it is. And Benson looks decent. 2.1 million and 850k in add-ons. Not bad business, especially when you're getting probably 17.5 for Corner. It's a steal, isn't it? There's still obviously money left to spend. Tell me about your manager then. Obviously, he was a name that at the time where he was banded around a few clubs, wanted him. I think we wanted him at one point as well. But he's coming to you. He's got his feet under the table, and in the end, it's, as you say, based on last season, you're starting to see the bears of fruits really from what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, the usual phrase people use is that he's a good fit for Luton. And I think that's a tad unfair for him. Obviously, he didn't do very well at Stoke, but I just think that was a bit too early in his career to start taking over a club that big with massive egos in the dressing room. It just wasn't the right fit for him, I don't think. There's this probably a misconception that he can only do it at Luton.
Yeah.
I can't see any logic to that at all. If you're a good manager, you're a good manager. Yes, we've got a good recruitment team, and we've got a good owners that back him. But yeah, he's a very good manager. I mean, he does rub other opposition fans up the wrong way because he's quite loud on the sidelines and says stuff in presses and stuff. But yeah, I mean, for us, he's one of the best, if not one of the best managers for Luton in the last 20, 30 years. So, yeah, I mean, he's a good manager. What more can you say? He's proven it with results, and he's dragged us from the bottom of the Football League to the top. So,
no, that is true. I mean, obviously, you had a fair bulk of experienced players. I mean, you had the likes of Cameron Jerome in there last season, who, we all know has probably been quite a journeyman in the Championship, shall we say? But I think some of the signings you've made have been a bit more younger, young, hungry signings, similar to how we've sort of gone in wanting. You've got to have that mix of experience and youth together, haven't you, for the blend to work? Yeah.
So this season we've had alluding to earlier, the strength in depth. We've had a mixture of signings. Really, we've added Woodrow and Morris up top, which adds a fair amount more Championship experience. But also we've signed some, Louis Watson from Derby, who's a younger one. Arabin Peppel from Canada, and then we signed John McAtee yesterday. They both look like they're going on loan. Well, McAtee's gone to Grimsby already on loan for the season. It looks like Peppel's going away as well. So them ones are kind of for the future and helping us, be a little bit future-proof, if you like. If we lose maybe Adebayo in January, if he has a good half a season. So it's kind of making sure we've got no trapdoors in terms of losing players that we're going to drop down the league if we lose a certain amount of players. So, but yeah, we've got a good. We hired a lot of athleticism last season, a lot of strong, tall, fast players, and we've had a little bit of skill this year. We've got Luke Freeman, had a belter of a debut on Saturday against Birmingham. Obviously, there's injury concerns around him. Can he last a full season and whatnot? But his skill was and his quality was evident to see on Saturday. But overall, it's been another really strong window. We're probably one centre back light from where we were last year, but we're definitely stronger this season.
No, that's what you need, though, isn't it? You need that sort of when you signed McAtee, I was like, you've picked up a gem there, because it's very difficult to do that nowadays, isn't it? With how much money's banded about in football, to pick up a gem from the lower leagues and bring them in for quite a cheap rate. I think obviously it went to shit pretty much from the Ross McCormack stuff back in early 2010s and stuff. But do that, it's very, very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there was rumour it was about $500,000 we signed him for, but then I've seen probably a little bit more better sources. It was around the 300 mark, which he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. But if he carries on as he's going, there's no way we would have got him at the end of the year. So, again, it's just trying to get there in early. We've got to be really shrewd in the market because, we haven't got massive budgets, although we spent a little bit more money this year. But to get players of that calibre that have got that progression in them, we've got to be quicker than other clubs, and we've shown that in that signing. If you look at Adebayo, another gem we picked up, he was around 200 grand. I mean, his sale value now must be about 8-9 million, and if he has another good half a season, you're talking more than that. So
yeah,
it's just about being shrewd, and Adebayo's nowhere near his ceiling at the moment, to use a Nathan Jones term. But he's not, and that's one of the reasons we brought Cameron Jerome in, was to add that little bit of quality up top, but also to help progress these players along.
It's as you say, we saw it, you mentioned Adebayo then, that players like sort of a Thomas at Huddersfield, who sort of, they were, probably playing football, part-time training, and I don't know, work at bins or just doing a normal job sort of thing, and then they just come into that environment, and it's quick to see, and we've seen it a lot more now, that there's little pockets and little gems that seem to just come out of nowhere and be able to rip it up instantly.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't always work. Obviously there's been lots of flops in the past, not necessarily for us, because it's been a change in recruitment style for us over the last 5 or 6 years. We've kind of gone down that Brentford ilk, if you like, and you've noticed quite a few clubs in the Championship try to do that now, because it's the only way we can really compete with the likes of like you guys that have got money to spend, or Watford or Fulham or Norwich. That'll come down and just spend 20-30 million. We can't do that. So with the signings we've made this year, there's no guarantees that all of them are going to make it. But if one does, then you've made all your money back and more for all the players that you've signed there. So, if Adebayo goes, for instance, for 10 to 15 million, he's covered our transfer fees for the last 5-6 years. So,
no, that's true. That's true. Chris says there, from Leicester Sladar TV, please do go and show Chris some support as well. Regular on this channel. And he's always up for a laugh, and he says, thank you, Luton, for James Justin and for developing Dewsbury Hall for us.
Yeah, I think I've interacted with him before on Twitter. Two great players. I mean, Dewsbury Hall's just solid. We only had him on loan for a season, but we helped his development greatly. I'm sure you'll know, and he's going to do big things. I've got him in my team selector thing, so hopefully he'll do well and get him some points this year. James Justin, I mean, he's just, It's just a shame he got that injury when he did. Otherwise, I'd have seen him being in that England squad a bit quicker than he was. Two fantastic players, and I think they'll both go on to do great things this season.
Definitely.
They haven't signed anyone, have they?
No. It's just a revolving exit door at the moment.
Yeah.
We've got Luca in. Luca's in. He says hello from Georgia. So hi to Georgia, whoever she is. I'm only joking. But yeah, hope you are well. And thank you for tuning in. As I say, Luca has obviously put his comment in over on our Twitch channel. So please do head on over there and show your support to all our other socials. Barry says here as well, when the laptop stops. Oh, why has it been so slow? Refreshing to see the England women playing with skill and passion without the high wages and demands of the male players. Yeah, I agree. And Chris said, for fuck's sake, you got that in at the end, lol. We can't help it. It's a bit like that meme, isn't it? For The Simpsons, where Grandpa walks in, takes his hat off, puts it on the door, picks it back up, and walks straight back out again.
Yeah,
I like that. Leicester.
They're a good club, aren't they?
Yeah.
Everyone loved their story, what they've done, but no, I didn't look too much into why they haven't signed many players. Whether they're just trying to tidy things up a bit, I don't know. But they'll get it sorted this year. There's not going to be any threat of relegation for them, is there? So.
No, you won't like to think so. You won't like to think so at all. So I want to touch on Kenilworth Road as a stadium.
Yeah.
So has there been anything in the pipeline with the stadium? Because obviously I'm sure there would have had to have been probably drastic changes if you did make the Premier League. However, it is a little bit like Turf Moor. It's one of those old, hostile, places you don't want to go to. But is there anything in the pipeline to make Kenilworth Road a potential move, or is there any, room for an upgrade?
So we've got planning permission on a new stadium. The final plans are just being put in for any little changes. Obviously, the planning permission was passed just before COVID hit, and with construction prices and stuff, it just soared. So it's added like another 50% to prices and stuff. We're on track still. They've just put in together a final plan of the last changes, and then that's going to go through. And as long as that gets planning permission, they start the building. They've already started flattening the land. We own the land. We bought 2 plots of land. One we initially got planning permission for, like a shopping centre, Newlands Park. We sold that land to fund the stadium. And that was, all for our own doing. We're fan owned, so it was great to kind of get that sorted. But then the chairman put in the notes on Saturday that the kind of final pieces are coming together. There should be an announcement soon, probably in the next month or so, to say, look, these are the final plans. As long as the council pass them, which they will do, they just start work, which will be 2 or 3 years down the line. But touching on Kenilworth Road, if we do get promoted. And it's a big F, isn't it? But we've already got contingencies in place that we can stay in the Premiership for 2 years at Kenilworth Road. There'll need to be a few minor changes, a few upgrades. The director's box will be need to change and stuff, and some more spots for cameras and stuff. But other than that, just a little bit of investment to change it. But yeah, we should be good to go for a couple of years at least, anyway.
Oh, it's not too bad then. I mean, one of the perks that I've enjoyed, even after just one game of being down, is when the ball hit the back of the net against Huddersfield. It was almost like that was it. Celebrate, do what you want. End up 3 rows in front if that's the case. Celebrate it. You're not going to have some referee go, hold on a minute, and then another minute, and then you got another 7 minutes before he's made a decision on whether it's a goal or not. That's the one perk I've enjoyed so much about the Championship. No VAR.
Yeah, well, there's talk about it coming. There's talk about having it in the playoffs and stuff, but it never happened. I don't know. There's been a few times last year where we needed it, and there's been a few times where we wouldn't have wanted it. So it is what it is. But I'm sure it's frustrating how you'd react to that. I've never been in that situation. I don't think so, where I've had to pause a celebration. I've been in plenty of places where I think we've scored and I've celebrated and then come back and we ain't. But I know.
Talk's in the chat as well. He says, yo, hope you're well, Talk. People, please do go support Talk's channel as well. He does have a channel called Football versus Cancer. It is a charity channel. As I say, we all have known somebody who has either passed on or has had the horrible, dreaded C word. And to be fair, I've seen a few dreaded C words in this chat recently. Just a different one. But yeah, please do go and support Football versus Cancer. So thank you very much for that. T-Boys says, imagine Kenilworth Road on FIFA. Could you imagine it showing the away fans going up the spiral stairs at the back, overlooking everybody's back garden? Everyone would be like, I need to go out, make sure I've mowed grass. I've got to do this. It'd be madness. But it is a proper old school, in your face, intimidating place. I mean, you are sort of boxed into the pitch, aren't you? It's so compact.
I mean, I prefer season tickets in Kenilworth Road End, which I share with my dad, but then I also sit in the Oak Road when he's coming as well. So, and the Oak Road is where I prefer to sit, where you guys sit, right? It's just because there's no leg room, it's cramped, everyone's together, the atmosphere is great. It's just so awkward. That's what football's about for me. You know, I couldn't imagine sitting in one of these modern bowl stadiums. It's just, I don't think I'd go as often. It's not for me. And I don't know if that's just because I'm a Luton supporter and that's all I know. But just, it's not the same when I go to a modern stadium and the concourse smells nice and the queues aren't long and the toilets are great. Just not the same.
Nah, it's not that. Like, I miss it. It sounds stupid, but I miss the days of you're sat there watching football, and all of a sudden, as much as I hated it, but that smell of somebody at some random cigar smoke just passes over, or that, and you'd just be like, you'd go down. The toilets at first, prior to the game, would smell like the system blocks, but then by half time, it's reeking of piss and fag smoke, and you just like, it's just those people think that it's, you know, those things are just nothing, but you sort of the things that you're like, nah. If I did an interview recently at the Turf, and I was sat in one of the executive seats. And I just sat there. I thought, oh, these are quite plush. They're all right. And as I was doing the interview more and more, I thought, why am I getting really hot? It's only when I realised there were a button attached and they had flaming heated seats on it. I was like, whoa, what? And I was just like, nah. Get me back with splinters in my arse in that away end, like the wooden seats. I want that back.
Yeah, well, it only seems like yesterday that, you know, it was standing. Went to Roker Parks and London, just standing. Everyone's just crammed in, and I miss them days. But you know, I don't want to be comfortable at a football match. I want to be crammed in. I want atmosphere. I want all the, you know, all them types of things. I know a lot of people think, what is he talking about? But for me, that's what football's about. Going to a different ground in a different place, having its different characters, and not being some, you know, bowl.
No, it's mint. We as a fan base have been having a laugh, to be honest, about Henry Lansbury, because we obviously were linked with him for every single transfer window. So people have been posting, the transfer window is still open. Henry Lansbury is due to make his way up to Turf Moor and stuff like that. But yeah, I got absolutely fed up with it. I mean, how do you rate Lansbury? I mean, obviously he's one of the experienced heads now, but is he one of the mainstays in the midfield?
No, he's a bit part really, but he's a shithouse. So if you don't mind me saying,
yeah.
But and Luton love a shithouse, so he's that type of player. He's still a great player, but he just can't play at the levels constantly every game of the season. So, but he definitely, you know, he contributes a lot. His passing rate is really, really good. So, you know, when he does play and he's at it. No one really has anything negative to say about him. He always produces, kind of thing, but it's just, you know, managing him, I think, with his legs now. But yeah, he's a great player and he likes to kick a few players as well. So
it's not wrong with that. Everyone loves a shithouse. That's why we like Ashley Barnes, because everybody hates him, but you know, you love a player that's like, if they don't play for your team, it's like, I can't stand them. But if they play for your team, you just like, I love the guy because he can just make everything fine. Rennie, you don't need to be sorry. It's not a problem. And if you are going, take care. All the best. So let's get into obviously Saturday's game. Where do you, if you had to pick a danger man out that Burnley need to watch and look out for, who would you say it would be?
For Luton, our danger
Yeah.
man. Yeah. I think obviously there's the obvious ones, isn't there? Adebayo and that, but Campbell's really good. He won't give you midfield a moment's peace. We got him from Motherwell last year. He just runs and runs and runs. He's got like 7 lungs. He honestly just goes and goes and goes. But he loves getting us forward, so he'll progress us up the pitch nicely. I think, he's probably going to be the most impactful. If Adebayo's on it, he's not quite fully match fit yet, I don't think. But if he's on it, holds the ball up well, and obviously can score goals. So probably you'd pick them two. Morris had a good game as well. Carlton Morris started up top for us on Saturday. You could tell he's good on the ball and progressing out the pitch as well. So probably them 3.
No, that sounds interesting. If you had to pick from a Burnley perspective, who are you not looking forward to facing? By the way, I'll give you the good news now. Cornet won't be playing.
Well, that's who I would have chosen, but you said he was going before we started, didn't you?
Yeah.
Probably Twine, and I know he might not start, but we were after him for quite a while. He looked really, really good, and I think it's just banker that he's going to score against us. So, and he's ex-MK Dons as well, isn't he? So we don't really like them either. So probably Twine. He can score from, I don't know how many goals you've seen from him, but he can score from pretty much anywhere outside the box. So
yeah, I mean, he nearly bagged against Huddersfield from a free kick. He hit the beans. So it were looking promising. But I'd say it's whether he starts. I think he might. Because I think Rodriguez has still got a knock. So there's a good chance either he'll start, or we may push the new lad Benson into attack with Barnes or something.
Yeah, he's one we should have signed before he went to MK Dons, and we didn't make the opportunity happen. I think we were definitely in for him, but we didn't get him. And I think that's probably why we learned from that. We're McAtee signing him this time and getting him. Because, again, he's a similar type. He can score well from outside the box, McAtee. And he likes goal inside as well. But, I think we kind of learned from that. We should have had him, really, because how much did you guys sign him for? Is it
4 million, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 4 million at end.
And I think they got him on a free transfer, MK Dons. So, it's good earning, wasn't it? 4 million. That would have been a lot to us.
It is good numbers. Dan Mack says, watching Vincent Kompany's press conference earlier, he said Luton won't change formation as they are used to the same, but with what Burnley are like now, they may have to think of something. I mean, how do you see it? Because we've transitioned from a team that are low block, extremely defensive, to now all of a sudden, the stats from that Huddersfield game spoke for itself. I think even in the first 45 minutes, the amount of passes we had, last season would have culminated over 2 full 90-minute games in the Premier League. It was just madness. We've just gone from defensive to offensive and very possession based. I mean, do you as a team want that, or would you rather us be a team that sort of sat back and tried to do the dirty work?
No, I'd rather be more open. You come out and attack us, to be honest, because obviously we're very good at playing high up the pitch. We transition very quickly on the counter attack, and regarding the formation, sometimes it depends on who we're playing, but we can transition for 2 or 3 formations in a game at different periods of the game, depending on how it's going. So there's no real telling what we'll go with. I think obviously Jones said, it's going to be a hard game against you guys, but also it's going to be hard for you. We'll go out there. We go out to win every game. We won't be coming for a draw. That's for sure. We're coming to win. Not saying that's going to happen, but that's what we're coming to do. We don't go out and we don't play for draws. We go out and play to win. So,
no, good mentality to have. Mark says, as you were in League Two not long ago, did you visit Rodney Parade?
I didn't, no, but I was speaking to our podcast a couple of days ago. I wouldn't mind it going, but with the whole COVID stuff, I really like Newport as a team. I think they've progressed really well. I watched a couple of games on TV when we played them. I don't know if the rugby team still plays there, but the pitch was dreadful. I mean, ours was back then as well, so I can't really say much, but the pitch was dreadful. But yeah, they're a good team. I really like how they've progressed, and they're a nice little cup team, and they've had a few of our players over the years. So I'm looking forward to us playing Newport next week.
Yeah, should be good. Should be good. Carl says, all right, pal, hope you're all okay. All is well over here back in Costa del Burnley. To be honest, it's actually quite nice outside. But yeah, obviously you're still in Turkey. Enjoy it. Enjoy it while you're out there, because as you say, by the time you come back, it's probably going to be pissing down. But Dan Mack as well says the more passes in one game in the last 2 or maybe 3 Prem games. It's exciting. Mac says, cheers for your kind words. Does appreciate that. And Kate also says, up the Clarets. I mean, Nathan Jones, funnily enough, has had a funny do with the chairman. All of a sudden, they're looking for a quick replacement for ahead of this weekend's game. They turn to you. You're picking the starting 11 for the game on Saturday. Who would be your starting 11 for Luton?
All right, okay. So, Horvath in goal, I think that's easy enough. Decent keeper. We've got him on loan from Notts Forest. Bria, obviously, right wing back. Then I'd have Osho, Bradley. I'd probably start with Potts again because I know I'll get ripped for that. But he had a really good game on Saturday. I think it's harsh to take that away from him. So I'd have them at centre back. And then depending on who's fit, if Dowett is not fit, then I'll have Bell in at left wing back. Lansbury, Campbell, Woodrow, Morris, and Adebayo up top.
Happy days, happy days. All I've got really to say is thank you very much for coming on and giving an insight into, obviously, the game itself. I've got 2 more things to ask you beforehand, but I've got a little game I want to play with you. And don't worry, it's not difficult. But this is this or that.
This or that.
Honestly, do my own voiceover work, get in touch. Only joking. So basically, this or that is just a little bit where I'm going to mention 2 things and you've got to say which one you prefer out of the 2. So I'm going to say Lansbury or Sonny Bradley.
Sonny Bradley.
Without doubt. Work hard or play hard?
Work hard now, unfortunately.
ask me at 18, it'd be like play hard every week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Facebook or Twitter?
Oh, Twitter, hands down.
Cats or dogs?
Oh, I hate them both. Dogs, I guess. Dogs are honest, aren't they? Cats still attack you at any point. So, yeah, dogs.
No, that's true. That's true. If you could swap any current player in your squad with a Burnley player, who would it be?
Well, current Burnley player, as in currently today. We're calling it for Dan Potts.
Is Dan Potts the former West Ham youth player?
He is, yeah. We've had him for quite a while now.
Have you?
But yeah.
I signed him once on a dodgy career I had on Football Manager, and he used to go out, like, turn out all right. There were him and a young lad called Jordan Spence. He used to be all right as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's decent. I think, we're looking for a replacement in that area, but he tries his hardest. He just goes off the boil every now and then, and he's obviously not up to our standard at the minute, but he's been with us a long time and he's Luton through at the minute. But a lot of people want him gone. So, but I just think in terms of upping our quality, if we're going to up quality in the team, then I'll change them 2 around.
No, that's fair enough. I'll just have go for a couple more comments before I ask the penultimate question that I ask everybody. But Scott says 4-1 to Burnley this weekend after last weekend's performance. I would snap your hand off right now for that. I think we are going to be in for an extremely difficult tie, and it's going to be we're going to be made to work for it. I mean, Huddersfield didn't even give us a game, and it were only 1-0. So, time will tell. Saturday's just around the corner. Richard says, new boy Benson up front for me. See how he goes. We will see where there is, as I say, with company now coming in, new players are literally going straight into the squad. Where under Dash, you couldn't just be match fit. You had to be Dash fit. Luke says, Burnley have transformed from a Brexit FC old school 4-4-2 for 9.5 years to being free flowing side and allowing to play. Can see even the players are enjoying it. Exactly. T-Boy says, Bradley all day long. Work hard. YouTube, Twitter. And then says, dogs. I need to swap Lansbury for Twan. The missus says, not being biased, you're actually good at the voiceovers, and having known you forever, you do bloody good impressions too. Especially when I'm out on a night with the boys and I'm like, oh, missus has been at me like, shit, did I just admit that out loud? Don't knock it. Sorry, I'm knocking it. Tim was a good option to have, I guess, Potts. Ant says 2-1 Burnley. And then says Dewsbury Hall shouts for Leicester captain. Well, who knows? Right, the penultimate question. Now, this divides opinions all over the shop. But here it goes. Oof. Does pineapple belong on a pizza?
Oh, do you know, I was watching something on this today. What was it? Kevin Hart and The Rock, they were discussing it. And The Rock said, yeah, all day long. And Kevin Hart was like, what are you talking about? No, it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. Why would it?
Yes. Ding, ding, ding. Correct. Honestly, I can clearly made a friend. That's me getting a cheeky dig when she comes downstairs.
Right, I'm gonna ask Ian what goes on the pizza or not.
Ant says yes. T-Boy says yes, it does. Oh, you set of animals. You set of animals. Disgusting. How can anybody bring themselves to do it? As Matt says, yes, Ian, welcome to the No Pineapple petition. Richard says, I think also Vidra deserves a new contract, seeing as his style fits this new look Burnley. Well, he's already come out and said that he's not going to be signing a new contract, Richard. So, it is what it is. So we will have to just deal with that and take it as it comes. Carl says, absolutely not, you grim animals. Correct. Nobody puts fruit on a pizza. Why do it? Unless it's one of those like waffles with like chocolate and strawberries or something like that. That's different. On an actual pizza, you're just taking the piss. You're just going too continental with it. And then call it Hawaiian just because it's got pineapple. Nah, you can't make that shit up. The missus says, but it does because it's on pizzas everywhere, takeaways, the shop. Just because it works for them doesn't mean it works for everybody. They catered for the few when it came to that mound of shit. T-Boy says Burnley 1, Luton 1. That's not bad. It's not bad. I'll take that. I'd still take that. I mean, I'd rather the 4-1, obviously, don't get me wrong, but 1-1 is a great prediction. And Dan Matt says, if pineapple goes in a pizza, then I'm good at shooting on target. Now, I've played football with Dan Matt for many a year, and he's a bit like Dwight McNeil, like one good game in about 15. So the shooting on target, yeah, that just goes to say the answer on pineapple on pizza. Ian, thank you very, very much for coming on and giving your insight. I do appreciate it massively. However, obviously, I say that was the penultimate question, but the main question really has got to be your score prediction. Let us know what you think for this weekend.
I'll stick with I had 1-1 as well, so that's what I'll go for. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be very open, but contradictory. I don't think there's going to be that many goals. So 1-1. I think it'll be. I'm hoping for a tight game, but it's going to be hard.
It is. It is. The missus says, but you'll have a burger and a donut. But that works. That works. Some
Never
things
had it,
work,
but
some things don't.
do you know what I have
Dan
on a
Matt
pizza?
says, what's
Anchovies
that?
on a pizza. I have anchovies on a pizza.
Anchovies.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone else has had it, but it just adds like you don't really taste fish. It's just like a salty texture, and it adds flavour to
Is
like
it?
any that you have. Yeah, really good.
See, I'm not a big seafood person, me, to be fair.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
the
don't.
only time I'll eat fish is pretty much like from the chipper. But if it's like given to me and it's got that fishy taste to it, I'm just like, "Ugh."
Yeah, no, it doesn't like a strong fish taste. It's just like really salty, really good.
Not wrong with that. Sounds all right as long as it ain't got that fishy taste to it. Damat says, thank you. My point got across, mate, like you're defending. That's it. That's it. He's told me a new arsehole with that one, but he'll go for a scrappy 1-0 Burnley. Luke says, anchovies are beautiful. See, everyone's got the same opinion. T-Boy says, thoughts on McNeil at Everton. Got good money for a guy who has 2 good appearances in like 15, 16 games. With the right mentality, will be a good player. But I think at Burnley, he didn't have that right mentality. Maybe it was us holding him back, Dash holding him back potentially. I don't know. But, you know, he was linked with a lot of clubs in previous seasons. But, you know, his dad kept telling him, no, get your head down, work at Burnley, and then, you know, the better opportunities will come.
What do you think is next for Dyche?
See, I thought he'd have stepped in at somewhere like if Bruce goes at West Brom, maybe. Before Huddersfield gave the job to Danny Schofield, I thought that might have been an interesting one for him. But I don't know. I think he'd do well for a Premier League team. I think the only reason why he's probably not going to get that opportunity is because of the fact that he was sacked. If it was that his contract ended and he wanted out, I get it. But I think a top end Championship team / I don't know, a Bournemouth of I used to think like a Fulham or an Everton. You know, could you imagine that? Tarky, Michael Keane and Dwight McNeil rock up at Everton. You know, Lampard doesn't last half a season and Dash comes in like, oh shit.
I think Stoke. I think Martin O'Neill is likely to go soon. I don't think he's going to do very well. I think he'd be perfect for Stoke. It's a similar kind of club to you guys, aren't they? And I think he just needs a strong mentality manager to go in there and whip him up a bit. But I'm surprised he's not gone somewhere already.
No, I'm not. I think every time you see him, he's out of piss. To be honest,
good lad.
But you know. He's why not go and enjoy it while you can, because as soon as you're back in management, it can all change. Glyn says 4-0 Burnley playing some sick City style Iniesta shit. I agree. Info on Corner, like the channel. Cheers, mate. I think he's off. He's pretty much nailed on that he's off to West Ham. So sorry, Scott, Chris, Anne, who came in. That's another signing you've missed out on, because I know you guys wanted him at Leicester instead of Lookman. If you didn't get Lookman, it's another one you'll be missing out on. Kate says Dash will manage elsewhere. I don't think this will be the end of his managerial career. He's a great manager and took Burnley further than you could ever imagine on very little budget for knocking on a decade. Yeah, I agree. It's like I used to say to people, you know, Matt Garlick would turn around to Dash, give him a tenner and say, do a big shop at Waitrose and bring me back the change. So, you know, we will have to see what happens there. Obviously, good luck to him, whatever he does. Scott says, please can everyone like and subscribe to this channel? Great hosts and mods, all friendly banter. Really do appreciate that, Scott. Thank you very, very much for the kind words. Luke says, gutted about Cornell leaving for West Ham. He'd have been a talisman for Burnley in the Championship. A lot of people says they don't think it'd have made it in the Champ because of the hard knocks and having to deal with, you know, a bit of brutality in the Championship, to be fair. But I suppose if he's off to West Ham, you know, that's what it'll be. I'm a West Ham fan. Any info? You getting a player that's very skillful. How do I say it? He's sort of in the mould of Ben Rama, but with more of an attacking intent than Ben Rama. It's weird to say, you have got a really good player who's extremely versatile all the way down that left hand side. Yeah, Vidra's gone as well, Dan. Scott says, Dan, to be honest, I see a mass exodus before the end of the transfer season. Very grim. Yeah, I think there'll be one or two more potentially leave. Tyler says, thoughts on Benson? Great signing, dirt cheap. Hopefully he'll fit the system and we'll see him on Saturday. Speaking of Saturday, as I say, there is a game, Burnley versus Luton. And thank you very, very much, Ian, for coming on. I do appreciate you coming and giving up your time tonight, especially with how shit you're feeling in the household under the weather. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Cheers.
Not a problem. Before you head off and we wrap it up, let people know again where they can find your stuff and support you.
It's just We Are Luton Town. You can find us on Twitter or Facebook. Like either, we'll just publish content on there, and mainly on Twitter, to be honest. But we've got a bit more of a following on Facebook, but a bit more ramblings and back and forths on Twitter, so you can find us on there.
Happy days. The link to We Are Luton We Are Luton Town. Sorry, the link to Facebook and Twitter, I think, is in the description. If not, I will add one. I know there's one in there. I think it may be the Twitter, but I will add the Facebook link in there as well. And we will be back. We'll be back at 9 tonight, obviously, with the predictions. A couple of questions. Tal says, you're going on the turf Saturday? Unfortunately, I'm not. It's my stepson's 13th birthday, so I have to contractually oblige to not be at the football. So, yeah, that answers both them questions. No, you can't have Josh Brownhill as well. Not a chance. Dan Max says, remember Luton, Liverpool, hopefully we can do the same. Barry says, like Dash, so wouldn't like to see him at the Baggies. Agree with Ian, think he'd do a good job for the Potters. Tibo says, it's the Twitter, right, brill stuff. Happy birthday to him, thank you very much. Kate says, make sure you're back for 9 for the weekly championship prediction show, and remember to sub to both Dan and Ian. Yes, 100%, well said, Kate. So there you have it. Ian's given us his perspective of Luton and what we can expect really from Luton Town this weekend. It's going to be an interesting affair. Both teams, obviously Burnley were relegated. Luton had a lot of success last season, but it's all about the 22-23 campaign and what both sides can do. It's still early doors. Who knows what will happen? But again, thanks, Ian, for your insight. It really appreciative. And we will see you again in literally just over half an hour. So take it easy. And yeah, hopefully see you soon. All the best and up the Clarets.